You didn't see that one coming, did you? Neither have I. So I've asked Mercedes-Benz for something fast and something practical. I was thinking AMG GT 63S 4-door would do just nicely. But of course I have already driven this car. So I've arrived at the dealership and I was giving this. I looked and I said, "Really, Mercedes? Am I a joke to you, Karen?" But of course, because I always try to make the best out of the situation, and quite often I am asked by people, "Anna, I need your advice. I need to purchase a car that'll fit in 5-6 adults and has got plenty of space from all my clutter." And quite often I just don't have an answer because a big SUV is just not big enough. And of course, as a woman, I always need to have an answer. So perhaps silver lining after all, and perhaps bigger is better. Well, we shall find out. So this generation of the V-Class has been on the market since 2014. They've sold about 200,000 V-Classes worldwide, so they've got to be doing something right. However, time goes on, and 5 years later, it was probably a good opportunity to freshen things up. Exactly what Mercedes-Benz has done. They haven't touched the sides or the back, but they have changed the front. And I think this car actually looks quite nice. When I picked it up, a lovely gentleman has asked me, "Do you know how to drive this thing, madam?" I must say, I was feeling a little bit insecure at this moment, but he straight away said, "It drives like a normal Mercedes." Yeah, but I was like a ninja, already 5 steps ahead and thinking, will I be elegant? Will I be glamorous in this car? That is what is important. I must say, I'm getting a lot of attention here. I think more than I'm getting in a Ferrari, to be honest. It's quite incredible. Well, perhaps I wouldn't get carried away by saying it drives like any Mercedes, because it certainly doesn't drive like the AMG C63, but it is very easy to drive this car. Believe me, if I can drive it, you can. You're sitting high up, you've got very good visibility, of course, 360 degrees cameras, extremely important, especially with this hair color. So I was worried about feeling and looking glamorous and elegant, but I was also a little bit wary about its height. Will I fit into my posh garage? Luckily, this car is 2 meters high and my garage is 2.1 meters, so all safe and sound. And if your garage is a little bit less, oh well, tough luck, here comes your ceiling. Under the bonnet, I've got a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel engine which pumps 239 horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. The maximum speed is 220 kilometers an hour, and 0 to 100 it is surprisingly only 8.3 seconds. Quite frankly, this car puts my very own BMW Coupe diesel pick to shame because it is only a little bit slower. So you can probably get rid of all the passengers, go and rob a bank and buy yourself a couple of AMGs in addition to this. Throttle response is good, the acceleration is salubrious. Sure, when you floor it, there's a little bit of a rattle, but actually for a diesel, this kind of an engine, it is very civilized and quiet, so that your passengers can certainly chit-chat in relaxed and peaceful environment, right? No one there, story of my life. The fuel economy is very good. All I'm using is about 8 to 9 liters. Well done, Mercedes. I'm quite impressed. We've got a 9-speed automatic transmission that is quick and smooth. There are no pulls whatsoever. You can also put this car into a manual mode, but quite frankly, can you be really bothered? I've specifically brought this car today on a fairly bumpy road just to see how the suspension is going to handle it. But I'm quite impressed because it manages to absorb most of the bumps and potholes. The steering is nice and light, it feels very natural in your hand, but it is precise enough so you don't have to twist and turn until your arm falls off. So this is probably not a dynamic panther kind of a car that you drive fast on a twisty road, is it? However, the suspension is firm and clever enough to keep it together, not lose a plot. So if you decide to go in a more dynamic manner to get your passengers quickly to the airport or to the beach, you certainly can. You can also pop this wild animal into sport mode. You get a nice boost of energy and quite a bit of rattle. So let's pop you back into comfort, which I think is the best mode suited for this kind of a car. However, what you have to bear in mind, on a twisty road like this one, the car will lean significantly simply because of its weight and its size. But at no point in time you feel unstable, insecure, or that the car will flip all of a sudden. Not at all. Now, speaking of weight, the front-wheel drive option weighs 2.1 tons. I've got the 4MATIC with me today, which is four-wheel drive, and quite frankly, I've got no idea what is the weight. I reckon 2.3, 2.4, I don't know. Probably too much to drive with a regular driver's license. Oh well, tough luck. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull over somewhere and check the passenger area. I am such a peasant. I don't have a driver with me actually. Instead, I put on this wife beater t-shirt and I look like a truck driver. Oh well, life of a peasant. Right, last but certainly not least, let's talk about the cabin of this large vehicle. So the seats here in the front are lovely. They're very soft, lush and comfortable. You've got an adjustable armrest. You can pop that on whilst you're driving so that you feel like a boss, that you're probably not. Seat heating, seat cooling. We also have an army of safety systems, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, 360 degrees cameras. In fact, most of these elements do come from Mercedes-Benz passenger cars from the older generations. For example, this small screen with a thick bezel around was less than pretty, and operation of this system, too much fiddling, but who cares, because you want to be a passenger in this car. I'm just gonna walk to the back and hope the driver I have imagined in my head is going to turn up. It is pretty comfy in here. The seats are on the firmer side. They're gently sculpted, so they're really good for long distance cruising. The legroom is pretty good here, very good headroom. You can of course easily fit in a third person. You can also have this row of seats mounted the other way around so that you're not facing the driver, especially if the driver is irritating as the one today. Let's continue exploring. There's a little bit more to show. And who would have known that being second in life is actually going to feel best? But this is the row you want to sit in a V-Class. Essentially, you're getting a separate seat, armrests, more legroom, a little bit more luxury than those poor buggers in the front. So before we wrap up, let's talk money, honey. The model I have with me today is worth 105,000 Swiss francs. This is more or less an equivalent to the US dollar. Essentially, what you are getting is a luxurious bus that will easily carry 6 adults and plenty of luggage. It is upmarket, it is elegant, and it is actually good to drive. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!